Hello, my name is David Tenney, and I am a curriculum developer here at Moffett Cancer Center. I work in the quality department in the business office, which is training and development. But it was a long journey to get here to Moffett. A lot of people ask me, how in the world did you get there? I said, you don't look like a curriculum developer. You look like a football player walking down the hallway. And it's funny because that's what I used to be. I played football till I was 30. I coached football, high school football in college, and a little bit professionally, and loved it, and was a school teacher as well. And there were, I guess, through that journey there's a lot of roadblocks along the way, a lot of obstacles, and but it was a very interesting path. A lot of people ask me, how did you get here if you're coaching football and teaching? What I decided to do was I wanted to go back to college and get a master's degree. I'm a single dad, divorced, and so I'm raising 2 children. I had just lost my job, and I'm going back to college to get my master's. And there's a lot of things going on in my head at that time, you know, and to think that I was going to just get into something like getting my master's where I needed a razor-sharp focus would be difficult, but I know that I needed to take the next step in order to provide for my family. And some of those obstacles, I guess, and I've dealt with them for years as well. I kind of broke them into 3 categories. One is considerations, the other one is fears, and then the last one were roadblocks. And 2 of them had to do with me personally, psychologically, and then of course roadblocks were actual physical roadblocks. Things are always running through your head all the time, and there were many considerations, but one that I probably think of right off the bat was, can I even do this? You know, after all these years, can I actually go back to college? Do I have the study bug? Can I sit down and focus and study and read and write and be disciplined enough to be a student again? I mean, it's been a long time since I was a student, and I was going to go back to college at Full Sail and get my master's degree, and it had been a long time, and I was wondering if I could even do this. So when I'm considering getting my master's, I chose to do it online because I had other things going on in my life at the time. 1, I was unemployed. 2, I'm a father of 2 children, and I'm also in a situation where it's just me. Going back to school, I was going to take away because I was completely dedicated to my 2 children. When would I have time to do this? Well, going back and getting my degree, thinking that I have to go into the classroom, I'm going to miss time with my children, so I chose online education. So in dealing with these considerations, there were 2 things I had to do: admit it and deal with it. If I want to make it simple, I could just say, admit I have these considerations and deal with them. And so and who do I admit that to? Myself? Well, yeah, that's one. But the other was I needed to bring it out into the light, which means I needed to tell somebody about it. And in this particular case, my partner in this experience of my master's degree, my education, was Full Sail University. And so I let them know all the considerations that I had going on. And so we were able to then work together to get through those, meaning that, okay, we can do it this way. We have the money for this. You have the time for your family because you can do this on other times. And I decided that, you know, it was self-paced. I mean, sure, we had deadlines and things like that, but because it was online education, I wasn't anchored to a classroom. So it was really, once I brought them out, we could talk through them, and I was educated on the process, and they dispelled any myths that I might have, preconceived notions that I might have had about education, and I was able then to easily move on from there. But again, I had to admit it to them and to myself, and then once you do that, you can deal with it. Well, fear means false evidence appearing real. So it's really not there. Fears are just, it's internal. I think of the movie in Rocky in Rocky 3 where he's fighting Clubber Lang. Now he had won the title, then he fights Clubber Lang and gets beat badly, and now Apollo Creed comes in and trains him to go and fight him again. And he's training and doing everything a different way, and they're running on the beach and he gives up because he doesn't think that he can win. And so he gives up. But we don't know this. He just keeps remembering he got beat. And so Adrian approaches him on the beach and makes him admit his fear, which is his fear of failure. I'm afraid to fail.
What's the truth, damn it?
I'm afraid, all right? You want to hear me say it? You want to break me down? All right, I'm afraid. For the first time in my life, I'm afraid.
I'm afraid, too. There's nothing wrong with being afraid.
There is. For me, there is.
Why, you're human, aren't you?
Look, I don't know what I am. All I know is I'm a liar, and because of that, Mickey ain't here no more.
And once he was able to bring that to light and deal with it, and Adrian helped him, so you bring that fear to light, you talk to somebody about it, he was able to overcome that, and of course he was then even more motivated than before, and then he went on from there. And now I understand that that's just a movie, but fears are a lot of what ifs. What if this? What if that? These things haven't happened. So we're creating these things inside of us that are paralyzing us, make us stop. And you know, that could be, what if I'm not good enough? What if I fail? What if something comes along? Anything can come along. In my situation, being unemployed, you know, obviously I'm going to have you know, concerns like how am I going to pay for this and things like that. But I think the biggest one that stands out to me was fear of failure. And I think a lot of people deal with that. And because this is a master's degree, and I know that you're held to a higher standard, but with all the things going on in my life at that time, I didn't think that I was going to be able to succeed. You know, they're just made up. It's false evidence appearing real. And so we can bring those up and dispel that false evidence and move on from there. Well, you know, in the first two that I talked about, considerations and fears, these are things that had to do with me. Unlike fear or considerations and fears, roadblocks are actual, they're real. And so they're not made up. Do I have enough money? You know, can I afford this? Well, and so do I have enough time? I was unemployed at the time, and so the roadblock there was that, you know, the money part. You know, in sports, being, you know, had playing football and track and baseball. When I look at an obstacle, I don't look at it as a negative. I look at it as an opportunity to be better. And if our whole life was cushy and easy, where would we be? I think life is all about overcoming obstacles along the way. Some are more difficult than others, but they're not impossible. Right? One of the things I need to understand about roadblocks, when I look back on my life, they're going to come whether I like them or not. And some are going to be surprises, some are going to be predictable. But a lot of them are going to be unpredictable. And well, maybe I should think about this as an opportunity rather than an obstacle. And so I changed my mindset. And so as long as I keep saying that to myself along the way, whether it be I don't have enough finances, or I don't have a job, or this program is too hard, I consider it an opportunity, all joy, knowing and understanding that when I look back and reflect back on my life and seeing all the obstacles that I've overcome, even that's motivation. I'm thinking, well, I did it then, I can do it now. And I did it before, it worked, I'll do it again. And I'll do it again, and I'll do it again. And so just reflecting back on previous experiences and using that mindset has helped me along the way to consider, you know, the world wants you to think, oh, here we go again. Or, hey, I'm going to get through this. Here's an opportunity to be better than I was before. So when I look at considerations and fears and roadblocks, I look at them as opportunities to become better. The things that I do with this is I face them head on, I bring them to light, and I overcome them one step at a time. Now, I believe in being a lifelong learner. So when I consider these obstacles and roadblocks, one of the things that you have to do is not stop or hesitate. In athletics, if you hesitate, you're done. And so we want to constantly be moving forward, so don't ever stop. And I look back and I see how that has worked in my past, that has motivated me before. And so I know that I'm actually excited about it when I see this opportunity. And so it helps me to keep moving forward, to keep attaining higher and higher and higher, because I set a new goal and a new goal, knowing and expecting that there are going to be these fears, considerations, and roadblocks along the way. I now can plan for them, even though some of them I don't know what they're going to be, but I know they're coming. And so I'm not going to get depressed about it. I'm going to get excited about it, because I know that in the end, as I move forward, it's going to get me to where I want to be.